Hello, Richard E. Gordon, CEO Dojo. Welcome to another segment of Solving the Puzzle. Simple but complex. Everybody from being a kid knows how to solve a puzzle, one piece at a time. And each piece is integral to the completion of the puzzle. Some pieces are cool, some pieces are not. Everyone knows the edges is the key to a puzzle. But again, without all the inner pieces, you're never going to complete it. So with that said, I like to talk about different things that help solve the puzzle. And one of the key ingredients is knowledge. And I'm lucky to have this individual who is a student of knowledge, a student of life, has a tremendous experience that is the key equation to that knowledge. And so I'll let her tell you a little bit about herself. I have Tiffany Norwood. Hey, Tiffany, welcome.
Thank you, Richard. I am honored and it is a pleasure to be here with you today. Thank you so much for having me. Again, I'm Tiffany J. Norwood, and I am founder and CEO of Your Emotions Matter. Your Emotions Matter is an online advice column geared towards assisting those who are struggling in unhealthy relationships. It is a safe, confidential, and private space where you will come and receive solutions. It's a personal development site, and you will receive solutions and assistance with your issues. You'll get to see other people, you get to learn from others, and it's just a private space where you can just eliminate all distractions, have the comfort of your own home, and just log in and just take it away in your own personal haven in a retreat. So I'm proud to present that to you, and that's what I do.
And that is amazing. You know, again, it comes from your heart. So an effort like that, it truly is a grassroots effort, and it comes from the heart. So I commend you for that. And definitely a lot of people out there need you. They need you in their lives. They need to help you guide them. So again, we want to get that message out there. And so as we were talking, Tiffany, we discussed in great detail a simple but very complex principle. And people talk about it all the time, knowledge. And we're in a day and age now where there's so much knowledge available at our fingertips. You know, all of the Ivy League schools, Harvard and Yale and Princeton are offering college classes and classes on bacteria and diseases, and everybody can be a pseudo expert. But with that comes the bigger question. Knowledge definitely is power, but is knowledge enough? So what are your thoughts on that? You think you have the knowledge and bam, you can solve all the problems?
Actually, knowledge can solve some problems, but not all. When you asked the question about knowledge, the first thing that came to my mind is, what type of knowledge are you talking about? And you did explain that about, the Ivy League schools and all the knowledge that we receive in education and higher learning. However, I just want to take it a little bit further than that, because us as human beings, we start receiving knowledge in the womb. And then once we're born, we continue to receive that knowledge. So I'm just going to break knowledge down just a little bit here, and we're going to just start off with our spirituality and our co-creator nature. Having that type of knowledge is already making us a success. As long as we have that, we're already there. Then the second type of knowledge is the knowledge of self-awareness, and that's basically just knowing yourself personally, as your habits, your routines, how you feel about this, what you like, what you dislike, just knowing your attitude about this, how your outlook is in life and your mindset, is just having awareness of yourself. Number three would be knowledge of body. And this one may tie into the next one, but knowledge of body is just basically understanding us, who we are as a human being and how our body works. We have, our brain and our heart. We have our energy centers, our chakras, and we need to really understand how those work to our advantage. And so the next one would be the knowledge that we seek. That is not the knowledge that we receive in school, K through 12 or higher learning. Once we're done with that, are we really done with learning? Once we graduate, take that cap and gown off, are we done with learning? So there's so much more knowledge to gain after that, but are we seeking that knowledge? So that goes along with body, because if we are seeking more, that's something that we can learn about. And then of course the last is not the last, the fourth. Let's see, about the one, two, three, four. It's about five, actually six of them. So the fifth one would be the education, like you mentioned, the schools and higher learning. And of course, do we really use that in life? Depending on our occupation, certain occupations do use the learning that you use, that they've learned in school in the occupations, but there are a lot, most of us, we just forget everything. As long as we know how to read, as long as we know
Right.
how to write, then we're good, we're good
Okay.
and comprehending.
Algebra on the shelf. Yeah, algebra's on the shelf somewhere.
Yes, right. That's right. And then there's certain things we learn where it's like riding a bike. We cannot use it for many years and then pick up on it. And then the last one is life knowledge. Of course, when I remember saying about us, learning from in the womb, we're born, and then we go into that environment of home, our home life, what our parents teaching us, the environment around us that we grow up in. And then as we just start to, grow and, become teenagers and adults, and just take in all that information that we receive just growing up as a human being. That life environment and experience is a part of knowledge. So everything that I've mentioned just is all a part of knowledge. So what are we really using in our life? What are we really focusing on? How are we using that to our advantage? So
Yeah, you covered a lot of amazing points, and that's the beauty of knowledge. Everyone understands it, but the people really delve into it. And you truly broke down our total existence from our existence in the womb. So you literally started at conception. And studies have proven over and over again that the uterus and the baby have, they respond to their environment. They respond to music. They respond to languages. So it's an amazing concept of that knowledge. And then it's like this planting the seeds of knowledge. And then when the child is born as an infant, they again prove the environment will stimulate, learning and growth. So key points, and very excellent. And then you cover the emotional. So there's like so many points that you covered that I think people kind of try to put things in their silos, and they just keep them separate. There's this knowledge and there's book knowledge and there's streetwise knowledge. Everybody's kind of familiar with those two divisions, the book knowledge and street knowledge. It's like, hey, I got the street. It's like I got the school knowledge. And I get the separation and the correlation, but I know you taught your kids the same way I have, is you got to have some street knowledge. You can determine whatever you want, worldly, practical, like whatever term you want to use, but you definitely have to have on book smart, which you stated as well. So again, I think it was an excellent point, the way you broke it down into all aspects of our lives, and the health and the fitness and all of that comes into knowledge as well.
yes.
So when you work with people, again, you work with people that have real world issues and real world situations. So how do you coach them and advise them and guide them on the knowledge they have, because they have experience, even if it's not pleasant, they have experience. So how do you help them use the life experience and the knowledge that you can give them to move to the next place, to the next level in life?
Yeah, that there, the life environment, the experience in life, unfortunately, is the reason why I stated that last, because I did want to expand on that, and that is the reason why Your Emotions Matter exists. We are here to break the silence and break the cycle of unhealthy relationships, and we are encouraging others to reach out, speak up, and create change in their lives. So when someone comes to me with an issue or problem in their relationship, that problem is usually just on the surface. We have to dig a little, I would say not a little, but a lot. We got to go underneath a little bit. Just think of a tree. So when you look at a tree, it's a trunk, and you see the branches and then the leaves. So when a person comes, I'm looking at that tree. I see the leaves, I see the branches, but where I would take them is underneath the ground, underneath where the roots are. We're going to just pull them roots up. We're going to just take a look at them. We're not going to dwell on it. We're just going to take a look at them, shake them off, and just get rid of them completely. It's just it's that simple. It doesn't seem simple in your mind, but we do have to just go beneath and dig a little deeper into the issue and go backwards and why those issues are there, because our reactions are normally because of underlying issues. So we just want to make sure that we tackle those issues, and then we'll be able to heal from the root up.
Sure, and it's painful. That's the key. It's painful. And what's the more difficult part of it is that people can endure pain. We as a people have endured pain in lots of different ways, but when it becomes personal, that's when it becomes really tricky, because we, again, our human nature is we put up walls, and that becomes the problem, because we put up walls and then we suffer in silence. So that becomes a major issue. Like anyone that has any home issues, again, especially older generations, you automatically build walls. It could have been something like mental illness that was not talked about back in the day. People had a sister, a cousin, an aunt that suffered from, affected a lot of people, but it was never spoken of. So again, it's that pain. People can handle pain. We're stronger than we think, but it's when it becomes personal, and that becomes your job, is to take that personal experience and kind of allow them to take a look at it. And so how do you do that? How does that, the knowledge of their pain and their personal life, how does that now become part of your process?
Yeah, I mean, I know it's hard. I've been there. When we're in it, it's a whole, when it's an emotional thing. When we're in it, it's so much harder. But what we want to do is take ourselves out of it, in our mindset. And I'll use a lot of analogies, and I'll say, okay, well, say for instance, what if it was your friend in this situation? Because a lot of people, this happens a whole lot. You can have, your life can be all screwed, but you're going to be telling your friend or your sister how to handle their stuff. It's going to be so easy for you to look outside of yourself.
Oh yeah, we're an expert in someone else's life. That's easy. There's no personal in that.
Exactly. That's easy to say. Oh my gosh, look how he's treating you. How come you didn't leave yet? You're not in that situation. You don't know what goes on behind closed doors and what they're really, really going through. You can't speak on somebody else's issues. But when it's your own, that's where it gets tough. So what I do is take them out of themselves. We have to sometimes jump out of our bodies. That's emotional intelligence. It's when you can kind of sit on your own shoulder like the angel and look down at yourself and say, and have that point of view of where you're just looking down and saying, look, I see you there, but you're not actually a part of it like you would be just in your own stuff. So it's kind of the same concept as looking at your friend or looking at your cousin, but you're actually looking at yourself.
No, and you're absolutely right. And that comes back to what you stated earlier in your steps, is the self-awareness. And that is, I think, again, one of the most important knowledges that we can acquire, and we can give ourselves that gift of being self-aware. And it starts early, because your parents, your guidance, people in your life try to help you, but it's a journey you have to walk alone. So people can give you the answers. We've all been there. I've had great mentors in my life, and my parents and my aunts and uncles. They told me lots of great stuff. I didn't follow it all.
That's right.
Whatever reason, I could come up with great excuses why I didn't follow their great advice, but it becomes a process of self-awareness. And so, if you look at the angel concept, or the spirit, whatever it is, there's that voice. And so we have to become self-aware. And I think that's a key knowledge of, knowing yourself. And that's why I came up with the concept, be you for you, because I find that is the difficult part of the journey, because we get influenced, even strong people. I'm not easily influenced, but I have to acknowledge, again, self-awareness, that I get influenced by stuff.
That's right.
I've been influenced by stuff in my life. So that's the knowledge piece that you're talking about, the self-awareness. So do you see that as being real important in people's development and growth, especially getting out of difficult situations?
Exactly. Self-awareness is key, because once we're self-aware, we can have better control, and we would respond as opposed to reacting. When we have better emotional intelligence and understand our emotions and understand that we can manage them, that they are actually manageable. It's just not who we are. It's just not, oh, that's how I am, or that's how I was raised, or that's how I saw my mom or dad react. No, it's manageable. We have control. We are miraculous, powerful human beings with so much control beyond what we can even imagine. But once we understand, we have to understand that, and then that's when we can start taking control over our lives. And it's powerful, and we have it. But it's just so unfortunate, like you were saying, you get influenced, and then a lot of this information that what we see and what we go through, hey, we were cheated on, for instance, and now we don't trust anyone else anymore. That stuff weighs heavily on our subconscious. Once something bad happens to us, we don't want it to happen again. And we put, like you were saying earlier, that wall up, and then we don't want to move forward. Something could have happened in our childhood, and now we don't want to speak in front of a group because we were shut down as a child. Just there's so many scenarios that I could, examples I can say, but just that life environment experience is the most, I'll just have to say, the most detrimental to us. And the reason why I just put it last is because it's the one that we need to break through those barriers that we have in order to excel and move forward in our lives.
No, absolutely. And I deal with that a lot when I talk to people because, a lot of times people will, my profession is a martial artist, a career martial artist, I do security. And so people think, well, you don't have emotion. And they think in general that that's what we come to. And it's like, no, it's quite the opposite. I have fully embraced my emotions. I've learned to control that. And I understand and respect the power they have. So when you try to deny it and you try to think we're not emotional beings, or I'm, devoid of, I'm not affected, I'm not impacted, that's when it becomes a problem. And again, that's where the knowledge comes in. Right. There's a lot of talk about emotional intelligence. So there's more schools of thought. But again, that's where the cerebral knowledge is. People understand that, but then it's a matter of the heart. So what's the transition to the matter of the heart to understand that? And so that's, again, the all of this intertwines with the whole knowledge piece because we logically know it. I don't think there's anyone that doesn't know that. But then it becomes the key to put your ego aside. Of course, our ego gets in the way a lot. I think putting that aside. And so working with people, that's the key ingredient of the instilling in them the knowledge to be able to address their own needs. And then that's where the flip side of the confidence comes in. Because I explained confidence to someone one time, and they're like, well, wow, that's just like self-awareness, and that's just like knowledge. And I'm like, ta-da!
Yeah.
Yes. Without a accurate self-awareness, you're not going to be confident, because I'm not thinking I'm confident because I know everything and I can do everything. No, I am confident because I am aware of my abilities. I am aware of what I can do and how to move forward. So with that confidence, how do you help people understand how confidence plays in their lives, especially when they're feeling down and they're feeling, and well, people have put them down. Their lives, people are constantly, you're good for nothing, you're not worthy, you're not important, you have no voice, no one's going to love you. And it's just constantly coming at them. So how do you help flip that and say, hey?
Yeah. Yes. I like the fact, I just want to just backtrack just a second. I like the fact that you brought up ego. That there is the killer. Okay. We like being self-aware of our ego, because we all have it. Just some of us, is more, more upfront than the others, but we have to take control of that and really, really be that self-aware in order to say, hey, we're going to shut that down right now, because the ego has no place. It has no place in, especially a relationship. And it definitely is very prominent in an unhealthy relationship. So ask the question again, because I lost track of it. I just had to just touch base on how ego we need to get rid of it. So,
no, and that's good. Again, it's like I love when I talk to people and their wheels are going, because that's what a good conversation does, and you get off in different directions. So yeah, the question based off of the ego was how to instill the confidence. Right. Because people are going to beat you down. People are going to tell you all of this negative stuff, and then that is in addition to our negative self-talk. So we're already doing that, so we're already thinking I'm not good enough, I'm not tall enough, I'm not short enough. Like everybody's like, well, tall people are not, they're too tall in their mind. Short people are too short in their mind. It's like everybody's already got that in their head, and then you get people play into it. So how do you come in the equation and say, okay, let me help you have a little bit more confidence in yourself? Like I said, it's a process of self-awareness that your height is perfect. You were created uniquely and individually, so whatever height you are is perfect. Then how do you help them to see the world with a little bit more confidence?
Yeah, that goes back into body and self and our spirituality and just going inside. Not in our it's our internal, okay? Because we have an internal and then we have the external. Of course, the external is what people are saying, everything that we see, everything that we can touch, everything that's outside of us is the external. Then we have our internal, which is, which is us as human beings, our brains, our minds, and our hearts. So it's about just accepting who we are as ourselves, regardless of what was said, regardless of what was done externally. It's we I When I hear when people are affected by what somebody else has said, what somebody else says to them, that's their opinion. That's how they feel. That's the way they view life. That has nothing to do with you. How you feel about me is none of my business. So it's the thing of just accepting yourself and knowing that you are enough, knowing that you are whole, knowing that you are complete, knowing that you that self-awareness again, where you do know your weaknesses, you do know your strengths, and you're okay with that. You're okay to say, hey, I'm nervous before this test, or hey, I'm nervous before I ask her out on a date. It's okay to feel how you feel. And because we're all human beings and we all go through it, it's okay to be right. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to admit you're wrong. So we want to just pay more attention to ourselves, and we want to be our own cheerleader. We want to be the person that's first and foremost in our own corner, because when we are waiting for others, that disappointment can easily creep up on us. We want to be able to say, I am confident. I am great. Uh, uh, at the perfect height. I am this. And you lift yourself up, because as long as you, like you mentioned, self-talk is very important. So when you catch yourself complaining, or you catch yourself saying, oh, I'm stupid, we got to be that self-aware to say, hey, no, I'm not. I made a mistake and I'm going to fix it. Or I don't know that yet, but I will. So we have to be so in tune with ourselves and be mindful and present as much as we can, because so we can catch those moments. Because subconsciously and unconsciously, we're gonna just do what we normally have done. I mean, over the years, we fall into those sets of patterns that we just normally go through without even knowing we're doing it. You can hurt someone, you could put someone off. You have no idea you did that because you just ran them away, and you're looking up like, oh, where did he or she go? Well, you said or did something that put that person off, and they're gone, but you have no idea what you've done. But you got to be able to look back at your days and be able to do a lot of self-reflection and say, so how did that go? Let's see here. What did I do that I could have done better? Or what did I say that I shouldn't have said, or maybe something I should have said? You got to be able to reflect and then continue to be accountable to yourself for self-improvement. This is a self thing. This has nothing to do with somebody else. This has nothing to do with what your mom said or your dad said, because they could said bad things to you. I mean, it has to be positive. If they told you and uplifted you in your childhood and say you can be a success at everything, then yes, listen to that. But if they were telling you that you won't amount to anything and that type of stuff, things, you have to kick that type of stuff out. So you have to do it for those, anything external outside of you, and you have to do it for yourself. You have to be always on guard of that information and that knowledge or that environment that's around you at all times, and also take control of the environment that's around you. If it's not healthy, move away from it. If someone is not healthy for you, back up and move away from it. It's you just taking control over your inner self.
And absolutely. And as you were saying that, and you kind of brought it like the ship into the dock, because I was just reflecting that we took this on a free flow, but everything we discussed, and again, knowledge is a very diverse topic. Everything we discussed was the essence and importance of internal.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I said, you brought it to the dock with your final statements, because I agree with that, because we didn't go into external knowledge. We didn't go into taking courses. We didn't go into seminars and workshops, which are all good. You and I are both advocates of that, but that wasn't the essence of the power of knowledge.
That's
You
right.
know, so you talked about the whole internal and inside and developing yourself. And just like you said, mentors and coaches are great. I have them, you have them. But it's just like the unfortunate teenage girl who's anorexic. You could tell her a million times that her weight is fine and it never gets to her brain. It
Yeah.
just never gets there.
Until she tell herself it's okay.
Correct. Until she has the knowledge inside and does the work to get there,
That's
it's never
right.
going to happen. So she can have every bit of knowledge available to her in any case. And so, yeah, it was just a wonderful way we intertwine this in the importance of knowledge to self. And then that's where the power comes from. That's
Mm.
where we're able to put the power out into the world. Because if we can quote a Roman orator, that's fun at parties and impresses the family, but that's not going to do a whole lot for my soul or a whole lot for my emotional intelligence if I could quote Cicero.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's right.
it's, a
That's
cool,
right.
it's a cool fact, but it's just the basis of knowledge. So with that said, we covered a lot in this segment, and it's like a beautiful thing because I says you got my head spinning and lots of topics and thoughts for me to think about and
Yeah.
reflect on. But time is running out, so I'll give you the floor of one thing you want to share, about your business, about what you're doing, or just one tip. So either way, you can do it. So you got the floor for the final moments.
Okay, I just wanted to comment on something you said and about knowledge. It's free to us. It's always around us. We have to be aware of always our surroundings and what's around us, but also not only be aware, but be able to take it in and not push it away. A lot of times we may push some knowledge away, and we may push that understanding away, and this goes in relationships where we just don't want to hear it. We only want you to hear me, and again that ties into the ego portion as well. So we want to be open to all knowledge. We want to
Absolutely.
be open to knowledge of someone who doesn't look like us, or someone who doesn't believe what we believe, or we want to be open to someone who has a different background than us. We want to be open to all types of knowledge because learning is key.
Oh, I agree. The great master Bruce Lee, which I quote him all the time because he has lots of great sage advice. He says, take what is useful and discard the rest. And that's exactly what you're saying. And I agree with that concept. So how can
Yeah.
people contact you? So people are going to definitely want to get up with you and they want to hear more about what you have to say and expand upon your ideas. So what's the best way for people to contact you?
The best way to contact me, go ahead and email me at Tiffany, Tiffany, at youremotionsmatter.com. Or you can visit our website, which I do ask that you do. And that's youremotionsmatter.com. And you can fill out the contact form and submit it. Make sure you put a message there so I can see what your inquiry is. I am on Facebook, I am on Twitter, I am on LinkedIn, and also Instagram. The LinkedIn and Twitter handles are Y, just Y, the letter Y, then Emotions Matter. And then you'll find me at Tiffany J. Norwood elsewhere.
Okay, awesome. And what we do when we post this, we'll make sure we put all that information like in the down
Okay.
below or the side or wherever it winds up. But we'll definitely put all that out there. And so, yeah, I definitely encourage people to contact you.
All
You
right. And
share,
let me give my tip though. Do we have a time for my tip? I didn't give it yet.
we're always going to give you that tip time. So, yeah, let's do it. We need that
All right. All right.
immediate.
My tip for today is to know what it is that you want to bring purpose, meaning, and fulfillment to your life. A lot of times we stay stagnant. If we do not know what it is we want, we will stay stagnant and we will not move. We have to know. So take some time out, do some self-reflection, really zone into what brings you joy, brings you purpose, makes you feel like your heart is singing, and go towards that. That is very important to know what it is you want in order to move forward towards the success that you desire and deserve in your life.
That is awesome because, yeah, that sums it all up. Knowledge without action, nothing's going to happen. You can't go biblical on you. You know, faith without works is dead. So
That's
again, we've had that for thousands of years, and so it makes sense. That's why it's lasted all this time, and it's a lot of different versions. So yeah, everything you said was just very impactful, very empowering. So I could see how when you work with people, you are definitely helping them clear up a lot of stuff and see that they are the answer.
Yes.
They are the answer. And again, I commend you for that, and I encourage everybody to reach out to you and take advantage of what you have to offer and
Mhm.
find out about themselves.
Thank you.
You're going to help them with that. So, peace out, everybody. Richard E.
Mhm.
Gordon, CEO Dojo, Tiffany Norwood. It's been a super pleasure. Enjoy your day, everybody.